Hello, welcome to the Black Belt Academy Positivity Podcast. I haven't been left, I haven't been abandoned. Sensei Maisie will be here in just a second. She's just setting the live stream live. She's doing all the technical stuff, and she's going to come and jump in over here. Last week she managed to set it all up beside her, but it's not quite so easy this week. As you can see, we're back at the Academy. We thought it was nice to operate from here, and it's really nice. So if we can go from there, that'd be great. Yeah, I think we've got sound on here. Hold on, it's really confusing me. Here we go. That's it. Okay, I was just getting some feedback from the sound about a 10-second delay in what I was saying, which was looping back in my ear. So here she is. Yeah. Good. So, hopefully you've had a really positive week and everything's been going well for you. You're overcoming the challenges that we all have, and you're becoming a stronger person by having to deal with them. You may have noticed that we're further apart this week. We thought we'd go with social distancing. Yeah.
No, I can just about reach you with my
Yeah.
phone.
No, we're probably about 2 meters apart. Which is quite a relief, really, because she does smell a bit, and
I do, really bad.
it's nice to get a bit of distance.
Well, I don't have to wash as much now, do I? You know, I'm not going
Why
out.
would you? You know,
Some days, I just don't even bother. No, that's not true. I'm going to add, that is not true at all. I
Yeah.
still bother to wash. But yeah, it's
Can-
really odd, I have to say, sitting
Yeah.
this far away. I know how those newsreaders feel now when they're,
yeah.
it's like, hello over there.
Get my binoculars. I put my glasses on to see where you are.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah. Oh, I left my, never mind, I can still see.
All right. So we've got several things that we want to talk to you about. As always, comment. Give us your input. That's the first thing that we can talk about, I think. We were dead chuffed. I know that we're both dead chuffed. Yesterday we sent out an email to all our members that said, please could we have some feedback?
Well, I think the reason we sent that email out was the...
Go
Do
on.
you want to explain the reason why we
No,
sent
go on,
it
you
out?
explain the
or-
reason why.
Well, we happen to... I'm the person who uploads everything to the website and the YouTube channel and does all of the technical stuff. And I logged into YouTube yesterday and I was really confused because on all of our videos, well, not all of the videos, but I'd say the vast majority of the videos that we've put onto the website, excluding the live streams, it was telling me that the videos hadn't had any views. And I mean, most of the videos came up as 0 views. And I thought this was odd, and I was getting really concerned that nobody was watching what we were making and what we were actually putting out. So we did a little test, didn't we? We sat and watched a couple of them ourselves.
Yeah, we didn't log in as a person, and we just and then tried to watch it to see if it would have a statistic.
Yeah. So we logged in through the website, watched the videos, and then I went back into YouTube to see if the views were coming up, and they weren't. Which was reassuring, I have to say, because it sort of, made sense that perhaps people were watching the videos and we just weren't getting the view count.
Yeah,
And
just not being recorded, yeah.
it was really frustrating, or it is still frustrating, because it's still doing it now. And it's really hard for us to know who's watching what, and it's nice to always have that feedback. You think, oh, this
It is,
video's
yeah.
had a few more views than that one, maybe we'll do that sort of thing more. So obviously that led us to send out the email that said, is anybody actually watching what we're doing? Because we're a bit concerned that
Yeah, of
nobody
course.
is. And we know that people have been watching our live streams because we've had the feedback from the live streams. I've had interaction from the live streams. But yeah, it was really weird. So that was the reason for the email anyway.
Yeah, so we sent the email out, and we had a load of responses, which is lovely. We had some really constructive, really helpful feedback from people, and thanks for that. It is super helpful because a lot of it is reassuring. People saying you're doing a great job, we like what you're doing, just keep doing the same stuff. And then also a couple of people saying we like it, could we also have, or is this a possibility? Which is nice, because
is
then
nice,
we
yeah.
know exactly what people are looking for.
And I feel like I bang on about it, but it's great to make videos. I love making videos. It's what I do for a living. It's what I went to university to learn how to do. But it's good to know that you're making videos that people want to watch, because we can sit here and make videos, that we think people might want to watch, but unless people watch them, then, we don't get that feedback. So it's really, as well, why we keep asking people to get involved with what we're doing, simply because we just don't want to feel like we're sitting here imagining all these people at home who are watching us, and in fact they're not. So
I think one of the challenges that you and I have is that we're in a situation most days where we get immediate feedback.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
we're in front of a group of people. We'll present a technique to practice. We get to see that feedback immediately. We get to gauge everyone's response, and then we know what to do next based on that response.
Yeah.
So obviously that feedback part of our world is not around at the moment, or it's around but in a different way. So thanks for everyone who has
definitely
been in touch.
And everyone who has, sent in photos or they've sent in videos, it's been great. We have loved seeing the fact that you are joining in with what we're doing as we're doing it.
It's
so
really lovely.
Some people are obviously doing the live classes after they've gone out live. They might do them the next morning, which is fine. If you've got something else that you need to do at that time, no problem. It doesn't make any difference to us. But at the same time, it's nice to see that whilst you're doing the class and I'm sat over there at the desk, I'm getting photos sent to me.
It's really
nice.
lovely.
It's great to see, because people take the photo and there's someone at the front of the photo doing whatever they're doing, and then there's you in the background on a screen, and I think that's great. It's lovely to see that. But at the moment, it's the same people who keep sending in the same photos, or
Which
the
is
photos.
lovely.
It's
Don't
lovely.
stop. Please don't stop.
But let's have some more of you. Let's have more of you getting involved. Perhaps this is the first time you've listened to this little podcast, and you're thinking, oh yeah, actually, I would quite like to get involved. Then do. We'd love to just have a little bit more interaction.
The thing that makes the BBA great is the fact that we all interact so well together, and the more of us that do interact, the better it feels. So, jump in and don't be shy. I'm sure some of you think, oh, my pictures are not very good, or I don't look very, very spectacular. Don't worry about that. You don't need to always look spectacular. We just want to see that you're participating and having fun, really.
Don't worry, if your room's a mess, or the cat's in the way, or whatever. We just want to see.
Still get your dinner plates on the table.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I don't even have a wash, so it's fine. Let's be slobs together. Hey.
All right. So on the subject of live classes, we've got some news for the guys, haven't we? About
yes, we're
about
cancelling
some live
them
classes.
all. That's it. We've had enough.
No, we're not.
No,
We're
I'm
not.
joking.
We're really not. What we are going to do, Sensei Maisie has very kindly agreed to do a live PE class based around martial arts, but not necessarily just martial arts, on a Tuesday and Thursday morning.
Yeah.
We said at 11 o'clock,
I think
didn't we?
about 11 o'clock, but again, let us know, because if 11 o'clock doesn't fit with your current school schedule, then I'm pretty much free to adjust my day around the PE class. I always think personally it's good to do PE in the morning. When I was at school, I felt differently. I wanted it last lesson, or later on in the day. But I think it's good to get it done. It's good to do it in the morning, and it can set you up for the day, can't it? It's good to get...
I think so. I like to do my training first thing.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do go to the gym first thing. Obviously not at the minute, I'm not, but normally I would go to the gym first thing. So yeah, if I've been not that I've been watching the Joe Wicks thing, but we had Jane Bentley, didn't we, who said that she was going to get her kids to do the classes that we're putting out as part of their PE lessons,
Yes,
which
absolutely.
made me think, well, why don't we do our own PE lessons?
Yeah.
So it's going to be fitness based. It's not going to be karate, kickboxing, or Muay Thai based, but there will be some things there'll be some elements of karate, kickboxing, and maybe Muay Thai in the sessions as well.
Nice, simple ones.
Yeah, but it's going to be predominantly fitness based. So if you want to do it with your parents, you want to do it with your kids, great. It's not going to be anything that's really difficult. I just encourage you to take part, really, especially if you're perhaps not moving around as much as you might normally. We've just had Easter as well, so
yeah, some eggs to burn off.
you've got some eggs to burn off.
And also, if you And maybe, I mean, I live in hope all the time of people who have been sedentary before suddenly saying, "Do you know what? I'll give that a try."
Yeah, of
And
course.
I absolutely love the idea of just helping people to get started on a journey, helping people to make their first steps on being a little bit fitter, a little bit more healthy, just more active maybe.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the good thing about doing stuff online like this, no one's going to be able to see whether you do it all, are they? You know, you could do as much as you can and then take a breather for a minute, get yourself gathered back and jump back in again. And nobody will even know. So, yeah, you don't have to be self-conscious about it.
No.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's good. And if you do have other family members, if you train and you have other family members that join in with you, be patient with them. You may be loads fitter than they are. So,
Yeah.
no pointing the finger and laughing
No,
and
and
saying, oh, you're not very
it's
fit.
it's not a competition,
No,
is it? It's
absolutely
just
not.
encouraging everybody to get up and move around, regardless of your current fitness levels, your current abilities to do everything. It's not going to be difficult. So if you're, tuning in and hoping that you're going to get a really hardcore workout that's going
It's
to
not going to be an
make you
insanity
sick,
workout, is it?
then it's not going to be that at all. No. And if you're looking for that kind of workout, then don't do the PE lessons because it's just not going to suit what you're after. Go and look for something else, I would say. It would be virtually impossible for me to do that sort of workout and talk at the same time. So I've got to keep the exercises to a point where I can actually communicate with you at
Yeah.
home. Otherwise, it would just be me breathing heavily and laying on the floor in a heap, which I'm sure nobody wants to see, especially live. So yeah, that's the plan. 11 o'clock Tuesdays, 11 o'clock Thursdays. Again, let us know. We're just fitting it into those days because at the minute we do our live streams on Mondays and Fridays, don't we?
And this podcast on Wednesdays. So it seemed
So
like
it fits around, doesn't it?
2 other days to do something live. Then we get something live on each weekday, which is lovely.
Yeah, and we quite like doing the live stuff, don't we?
Yeah, I love
it. It's nice to just sit down and have a conversation and just sort of see what happens, really, isn't it? And see where the conversation takes us. And I think
It
that's
is.
part of the nice thing about doing a podcast as well. But yeah, shall we talk about the main topic of today's?
Our life plan.
Yes.
All right, so let me explain briefly. When I was young, I bumped into this chap. I won't bore you with how I got to know him. But he spent some time, I was about 15 or 16, I think, 14, 15, 16. I was mid-teens. And I got speaking to this chap who was a retired chap who was Polish. I think he was over here because of the war for some reason. I can't remember whether he was a serviceman or whatever. He was the right age to have been a serviceman in the war. So probably, I mean, not many people of his age would have managed to not be in the services in the war. So anyway, we got talking lots. We were in a situation where neither of us could do anything else anyway. And if you want to know the details, I'm happy to tell you, but I won't bore you with them otherwise. And he sort of took me under his wing and gave me some different information to what my parents had given me. And my parents were fantastic. They did everything they could for me. But sometimes somebody else has information that they don't have, which is still really useful. And it was to me anyway. And this chap spent some time putting over to me and explaining to me that what I was doing in my life so far was creating or putting together all the training to become a grown-up. And I thought, yeah, that's fairly obvious. But then he said, do you ever think about what sort of grown-up you want to be? What sort of person you want to end up as? Well, that made me scratch my head. And then he went on to this long explanation about you can look at all different aspects of your life and your character and your characteristics and your interactions with people. And you can actually, if you want to, decide how you're going to be in any situation. So I thought, and I've done this for a couple of people since. It's come up in conversation. I've mentioned it, and 2 or 3 people they've all said to me, "Oh, that would be good. Would you mind going through that with me?" So I have, and I suppose I don't know why it's taken me so long to think the idea might suit our students.
I think simply because we've had so much to think about recently,
Yeah, yeah, possibly.
which isn't a bad thing.
But with the lockdown and everything, I thought, well, it's a perfect opportunity to put it out there. I've put it into a document, and I'll email it. It's only a Word document, so it doesn't take up much space.
Well, we'll put it on the website as well, shall we? So people can
I'll put it on the
download it from
website,
our virtual classes.
and I'll
page.
also email it to everyone as well who's on the emailing list. But just to go through to outline it for you, so you understand what it's about. I'll read some of these things. All right. So it says here, this document is designed to guide you into having a greater understanding of your full potential and how you could achieve it. It is really a happiness and fulfillment guide rather than a career plan. And this guy explained this to me. He said, look, I'm not telling you what to do for a living, what to do for this, whatever. He said, this is about you being the person you want to be. Okay, that sounded really interesting. So this plan works great for kids. It's perfect for teenagers. Absolutely perfect. If you're a teenager, this is absolutely for you.
I think about 15, maybe 14, 15,
absolutely.
16, that kind of age.
But I would also say, if you're an adult, even if you're the same age as me, you could still spend some time constructing yourself and creating the sort of adult you want to be, rather than what's just happened by default.
It's never too late, is it? And I think people do fall into that default mode, if you like. Too often, people just think, "Oh, it's the way I am."
Yeah, well, and that's a comment on the sheet,
and it's the most overused, I think.
That's just the way
phrase. I am. And you think, well, it's the way you are at the moment, but you have some control over the way that you are. In fact, you have all of the control in the way that you are. Admittedly, there's things in the sheet, like you say, you can't change your height, you can't change your eye colour, your skin colour. There are some things that you can't change about yourself. But there are lots of things that you can change. And if there's something that you don't like about yourself, well, change it. Don't just sit there and be unhappy by it. Do something about it.
And also, I mean, that's a brilliant thing to say. You can change things that are already happening. But also, decide in advance how you want to be, how you want to end up. So some of the sections here, I'll just go through these I'll just quickly go through them. So the first section on here is, as an adult, how would you describe your personality? So how would you describe the personality of the person you become? I know you're
the person
never
you'd like to be.
Yeah, you're never a finished product, but the person who operates on a
your
day-to-day basis.
Ideal.
So are you kind, unkind? Are you gentle, rough? Are you helpful to others? Are you unhelpful? Do you listen, or are you too busy?
And to be honest, it sounds really self-explanatory, and you think, well, obviously I want to be kind, obviously I want to be patient, but unless you really think about those things and you bring it to your attention, it's sometimes quite easy to become the opposite without even realising you've done so.
You don't even notice, do you?
No, exactly.
And the other thing, of course, Maisie, is you may think, I want to be kind, but things very rarely happen by chance. You want to be kind? Well, do some work. Think about what you're going to say in advance.
Go out of your way to be kind.
Yeah, actually make an effort to be kind, And if you want to be helpful or unhelpful, decide what you want. I think most people want to be helpful.
Yeah.
But do they ever make any plan or effort or look for a way in which they could be more helpful?
Yeah.
All of these things that need a bit of planning and a bit of thought.
Or do they just wait for those opportunities to come to them without...
Yeah, or worse still, notice a time when they could have been helpful, but they didn't really realise at the time.
In hindsight. Hindsight is wonderful, isn't it?
Good. All right, so next section. As I said, you're going to be able to see all this in more detail, but I don't want to go through every single detail right now. I'll just go over everything and give you an idea of what it's all about, and then you can really look at this in detail if you want to. All right, so the second section on here is, how will you treat others? Are you polite? Do you hold the door open for people? If you see someone carrying something heavy, do you offer to help? Will you give up your seat for a person who could benefit from it? These are things. See, section 2, my father would have shouted and yelled and moaned at me if I hadn't done those things. But this other chap who told me about putting this into a life plan, he said, yeah, you get that. You know the things. And when he told me this, I said, yeah, of course I want to do those things. Right, he said, so what do you do? What are you doing at the moment to ensure that that happens? Or are you just hoping? Are you just hoping that's how you end up? Are you practicing? Yeah, and that's really relevant, I think. It's like, and fitness is always a thing, isn't it? I want to be fit. Well, it's not going to happen by magic. No one's going to come and sprinkle magic fitness dust over you. You're going to have to do something
or
daily.
healthy dust. Yeah. That's absolutely.
All right, so that's section 2. Section 3. What are you like in conversation? Do you speak more than you listen? Do you interrupt people when they speak? Are you just waiting for a person to stop speaking so that you can jump in with your thoughts? Do you ask questions about the things that the person has just told you? Because that shows that you're interested in what they've said. And these, again, just guidelines. But who among us, and I never thought about my conversations, I never thought about how I interacted with people until this person pointed it out to me. If you give a little bit of thought to how you speak, how you jump in, do you interrupt people? That makes an enormous difference to the way you get on with people.
I think as well, genuinely listening to someone and genuinely understanding what they're saying or paying attention to what they're saying. I think so many of us are sort of what I would call half listening, listening with one ear and sort of being like, yeah, all right. Which is really easy to do, again, when you're a young person. We've all done that, to our parents especially. But you think if you were to stop and actually listen to what that person's saying, who knows, you might actually learn something as well. So it's polite, isn't it? It's like things about when you have a conversation with somebody, you tend to look them in the eye, you don't tend to look away or look at the floor or drift off, because then the person who's talking to you feels like you're not interested anyway. So all those little things.
But when this person explained this to me, it was like, why has no one ever told me this before?
Yeah.
This is good stuff. Why have you not told me these things before? Or why has no one else told me? Like I said, I think I was about 14 or 15 at the time. And I'm sure if my parents had thought to tell me, they would have told me.
Of course, yeah.
But it just never occurred to them, probably because they'd never been told either. All right, so next section, number 4. When things don't go the way you'd planned, how will you respond? Will you lose your cool? Will you remain calm? Will you go to pieces and get confused? Or will you stay relaxed and make a plan? Will you take action, or will you be frozen with fear? Will you be the type of person to quit and say, oh, it's just not fair? Or will you start again with more determination than ever? So what will you do when things don't go your way? Now, I think this is the most important thing to plan in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Because inevitably in life, some things won't go your way.
No.
And the way you deal with that is so significant to how you progress and how you get on. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunately, sometimes people don't pass gradings.
No.
And I really don't like it, because part of me thinks I didn't prepare them well enough. That's a lot of that emphasis, that blame, and I don't like the word blame, responsibility. A lot of that responsibility falls on me because I hadn't prepared them well enough for the grading. And then I look at this situation and I think, wow, that is not passing that grading has really helped that person. They've said to themselves, right, I need to step up what I'm doing here.
And 9 times out of 10, I would say that is the case.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Of course, you do get that one person who will say no. I think you mentioned it a minute ago. It gets too tough and you quit, or you walk away from it. It's not fair, that sort of thing. But most of the time, I think people do think, well, actually, that was pretty scary. I didn't like that. I want to stop that from happening again. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure it doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a...
But and again, sorry, but
right.
not just relevant for gradings, relevant for life.
No, that was just an example, but absolutely relevant for life. And much more relevant in life.
Yeah, we all have things that happen in life where we do have to prepare ourselves for those things to happen. so that when they do happen, we're not, well, I
Not
don't
s-
know, destroyed or
Yeah.
whatever the word is,
You're not
devastated.
Yeah, we're not too wrong-footed, are we?
No,
We can
no.
deal with it. Um, I haven't written it down here, but something that I always advocate is, especially in self-defense situations, where you may be in danger. But this applies to any situation where you may be surprised or you feel under pressure. Try to decide in advance what
Yeah.
you're going to do, because making a decision when you're under pressure is so difficult, or making a good decision.
Yeah, and it's not always the decision you might like to make. If you've thought about this person who you want to be, if you sometimes react under pressure, that decision that you make there and then may not necessarily fit with the person that you want to be because you've done it under pressure. So, exactly, yeah, think about it before it happens.
The number of times since I had this conversation with this chap, the number of times I've been in a situation when someone has said something to me and I can feel myself go, grrr. And my impulse, my natural response would be,
Yep.
and I think, no, because that's not what you've decided. And this is what I've decided. I've decided in my head, in my brain, if anyone puts me under pressure in a really pressured situation, I've decided that I will stay calm. I will think things through. I will not react. I will respond at the right time, and I will respond in the best way possible for me. Now, is that always easy? No, absolutely not. But because I've made the decision in advance when I'm not stressed, all I have to do is remember that I've made the decision. I can feel the pressure building. I can feel it coming up, and I think, Richard, you've decided about this in advance, and you've decided this when you're calm and you're cool and relaxed. You're not cool, calm, and relaxed now. Don't make a different decision.
Yep.
Stick with the one you made in advance. Let it pass. Then decide what you're going to do.
Never make decisions when you're angry, that's for sure.
No. Okay, good. So that's number 4. Number 5. Will you allow your emotions to get the better of you?
Which sort of leads on, actually, from what we've just discussed.
Yes, it does. But not just anger emotions, not just stress emotions. So are you going to be the person who gets angry quickly, or perhaps decides things, and then does things they may regret later? Will you allow yourself to be crushed or upset by comments or gestures of others? Would it be possible for you to notice your first response to situations, and then before you say or do anything or feel anything, have a little think, take a moment, calm yourself?
Yep.
It's very easy for us to notice something and be hurt by it or be upset by it or, oh, I'm devastated. Well, you're choosing to be devastated.
Yeah, and had you have perhaps prepared yourself for that
Yep.
thing, then you may have not been so affected by it.
Yeah.
If you'd taken the time to think about it and get things in place beforehand, then yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the next sentence I've got here is perhaps realise, when you've calmed yourself, perhaps realise that the person who said or did that thing to you, they may have been having a bad time themselves. They may not have been thinking clearly, or they may not be as resourceful as you. So
Yep.
let's say I lose it with you one day. Rather than you
Frequently.
getting angry with me, you could think, oh, well, maybe Richard's having a bit of a bad time. Maybe, you know me quite well, but maybe you could think, he's not very resourceful. He's struggling here.
Yeah.
And that's true of a lot of people. And it's not a criticism.
No.
If people are struggling and are being unkind to you, very likely they're on the edge of what they're able to deal with.
Yeah.
So cut
Well, it's
them
like
some
we
slack.
talk about bullying, isn't it? People who
absolutely.
tend to be a bully are the ones who they're on the edge of the thing themselves. They're the ones really who are struggling with something. It's not always clear what that thing might be, but they're the ones who have that issue, if you like.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I think the key word you've got is that there is the resourceful part. It's about being resourceful, isn't it?
Yeah.
For sure.
It is. Number 6. is it possible for you to strive to be as happy as you possibly could be every single day? And when I mentioned this to people, they've said to me, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, is it possible that every single day you could say, I want to be as happy as I possibly can be today?" They scratch their head and they say, "I don't know what you mean." I said, "Well, on a scale of 0 to 10, if 10 was the happiest you could possibly be, how many days in the last week have you been at 10?
But I think it's also important that you don't always have to be at 10.
No.
It's fine to be at 7,
Of course.
as long as you're on the upper end of the scale.
Well, if that's the best you could do that day, it's fine.
And it's okay. We're not saying that, nothing bad or unfortunate is ever going to happen. You have to see the silver lining in everything, because, of course, bad things do happen.
Of course they do.
But, again, if you prepare yourself for those bad things, it might not make you as unhappy. But, I don't want people to think that we live in a little fairy land where everything is glittery and sparkly and, there's unicorns and stuff. And
I think I do sometimes.
yeah, I think you might do. But you have to be realistic. And I think that, of course, there will be things that do make you angry from time to time, or, there's things that go on that you wish hadn't happened. But I think the point is trying to spend or be as happy as you possibly can all the time. And that's, even if that means that you have to look for those things to be happy about. Last week we did our little positivity chat, and we spoke about looking for things to be positive about. Why are you looking for things to be positive about? Because you want to be happy. And I think that's, you can look for things to be happy about as well. And it might not always be really obvious and really easy, but I think you can do it.
It's about going back to the planning thing, isn't it? We plan our holidays, we plan our meals. We say, yes, we'll be eating at 7:30.
We're going to have this.
Yeah. And we know what time every component of that meal needs to begin cooking, if it's a cooked meal.
I'm sure everybody already has thought about what they're going to have for dinner tonight.
Absolutely. So it all comes together at about the right time. Hopefully everything is warm at the same time or cooked at the same time.
Yeah.
Everyone. You've told everyone what time dinner is. They all arrive, and everything goes to plan. All right. Well, that's lovely. And why not apply the same thing to your happiness?
Your life, just
your
think
life.
about the things that you want to happen in your life, or the things that the ways that you would like to be as a person. I think lots of people think about things like, I want to do this as a job, or I want to have this car, I want to earn this much money, and I want to go here on holiday. Great.
They're not bad things.
They're not bad things to think about, but do you think about the other things? Do you think about your personality? Do you think about how happy you are, and could you be happier? What like we've said from the things that you've spoken about. What are you like in conversation? Are you a good listener? Are you somebody who's kind? Are you polite? Are you helpful? Things that perhaps do get overlooked or forgotten about. And I'm not saying that everybody's, not polite and not kind and not happy and all of those things. But I think
a lot of people operate on their default,
exactly,
rather than deciding how they want to be.
Yeah, and are you just polite because it's what your parents have taught you, or are you polite because you feel that that's the right thing to do and you want to be polite? So just think about those things. Encouraging you to think again.
Absolutely. And going back to your point about being a good listener, not everyone has to be a good listener.
No.
I'm not saying you have to be. There are no, as I said at the beginning, there are no right or wrong answers.
No.
It's about you being the person you want to be. And sometimes being a good listener means you'll end up listening an awful lot. And if that isn't what you want, don't do it. No one says you have to be a listener.
No. And if you don't want to be a good listener, fine.
This whole thing is about you being what you want to be and about you being happy.
And being the best version of yourself that you can be.
Absolutely. So the last part of that is, will you look for the good in people or their faults? Will you search for possible positive outcomes to every situation? Would you be the type of person to look for humour and to be cheerful? Is the happiness of other people important to you? And again, I'm not saying it should be. I'm saying, is it important to you? Because if helping other people to be happy is important to you, and you don't do it, then you'll be less happy. And that's what this is about, you being happy, you being content in your life. So if you identify that, you know, helping other people to be happy is an important part of your life,
Hmm.
then do it and be happy. You know, but don't be a slave to it. Don't think you have to do it all the time.
I think one way to actually make yourself happier, I suppose, is a good way for me to explain it, is if you struggle with certain things, and perhaps you feel as though you're not as happy as you could be. One thing I think that I could possibly say I'd like you to think about is, are you caught up in what other people think of you?
Oh,
Because
oh.
I think if you're tied up in what other people think of you, then you're going to really struggle to be happy.
Do you know
Because you
what?
just can't please everyone. And it's not important what other people think anyway. Well,
Maisie,
some
that's
people.
genius because there are 7 sections on here and there are now 8
Oh, okay.
because
There you
we're going to have an extra one.
go. Okay.
Don't get caught up on what other people think
Yeah.
of you.
And I think that, I mean, I've had this conversation with people before, and I can genuinely count on one hand, I think, about the people who I am concerned about what they think of me, and they're people like my mum,
Don't go any further than that. Leave it there, just in case I'm not on the list.
my mum and my boyfriend, and I think that if, I don't know, it frustrates me because people are like, oh, I don't know, for example, I don't know how you have the confidence to wear that, because if I went out in the street, I'd feel like people are looking at me. And?
Why would you notice?
Why does it matter?
Yeah.
Are you ever going to see those people again?
And does their opinion
does
change
their
your life
opinion-
in some
yeah,
way?
does their opinion matter? Now, I'm not saying it's an easy thing to get over, because I promise you this is something that I used to be really caught up in, what other people thought of me. But if you can work on it and you can get past it, it's such a liberating
Yeah, it is.
feeling. It's just, and it's a massive, massive confidence boost as well. If you're somebody who's lacking in confidence because you're worried about what other people think, good place to start, definitely. Stop worrying about what other people think.
You know, that's one of the few things that actually does sometimes happen by chance. I see it a lot with martial artists. As they become more and more confident as a martial artist, they worry less and less what other people think of them.
Yeah.
And it's almost something that does happen subconsciously. But you can make it happen a lot quicker if you do it consciously. If you say to yourself, do you know what, I don't care what they think. I'm going to do it my way and do it this way.
But I think as well, if you say that, I don't care what they think, you have to genuinely mean it, and you have to genuinely believe that you're not worried by what that person thinks.
And the thing to do is not even notice what you think they think.
Yeah, well, I think it's fine to notice. It's fine to notice somebody's reaction to you, but you have to let that stop there. Just notice it and not have any reaction to it, I think is a thing. But to reiterate, I'm not saying it's easy at all, but it is possible.
All right. So what was going to be the last one, but now there's another one to add to it.
Okay, so
Right.
we're on to 8 now.
Yeah, resourcefulness. All right, resourcefulness in your things, in your skills, in your beliefs, in your abilities. So what resources will you put in place in your life? Will you be well educated so that you have great knowledge? Will you be sporty? Will you be strong? Will you be fast? Will you be extremely skilled in some area? Will you surround yourself with many friends with all who can provide those resources for you? Being resourceful doesn't always mean being able to do something yourself, does it?
No, not at all.
You know, I think being resourceful sometimes is knowing where to go and ask for help.
Yep, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with
Nothing
asking
at
for
all.
help.
As long as you know where to ask and you've
And
got a
you
fairly
ask
good...
the right person.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like
of
that
course.
thing that you say in class, it's fine to copy people, but just make sure you're copying the right person.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah.
Good,
Definitely.
all right. Well, that's number 7, and then we're going to have number 8. We're going to add number 8 in,
The happiness,
which
yeah.
is not...
Or the not worrying about what other people think.
Yeah. Okay, we'll add that in. So that's good. So how the exercise works is we get you to just describe everything about yourself for each of those sections. Now you could go just on the points I've made, the points I make in the document, if you like. But there are loads of others. You know, the more you can map out the grown up, the adult you want to be, the better.
Yep.
You know, and I still have things. You know, I'll see somebody doing something on TV and think, do you know what? I'd like to have that attribute. A classic example, which is quite recent, probably about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, I started picking up litter when I go for a walk with the dogs.
Little litter picker, aren't
Yeah,
you?
I bought myself a newspaper delivery bag. It goes up and it's fluorescent yellow, so I'm not going to get run over, even in the dark. And I get my latex gloves on. And when I take Reggie and the others for a walk in the
Do
mornings.
you look like you're doing community service?
Yeah,
or something?
I probably do. I actually have a high-vis
Yeah.
jerkin on as well.
Nice.
So perhaps I should get voluntary community
Yeah,
service on
yeah.
that.
That
And
one.
wherever we go, I pick up litter. And I don't do it for any other reason than the litter annoys me. And I think, that's good. And I saw somebody else doing it and thought, that's nice.
Nice thing to do.
That's
yeah.
nice. I'm going to have that in my life. So, you know, that was, how was I? Probably 57 then. So I'm still making changes, you know, and it's a never-ending process, isn't it?
And it's okay, you know. It's fine to make changes to yourself at any point in your life, isn't it? I don't think you should ever settle for anything that you're not happy with.
No.
And if you're happy with something, great. You know, don't change it. Only change the things that you want to change, because you think that by changing it, it will make you a better version of yourself, I would say.
Next point on here. Funny you should say that. In time, as you grow, you may change your mind about some of the things, and that's fine. You know, what was important to you, what you thought you wanted to be as an adult when you were
12
years old,
Yeah.
may not be quite as important when you're 18 or 19. You may think that was a ridiculous idea.
Or just not possible, because I wanted to be an astronaut. I genuinely did, and I would still love to be an astronaut, but I had to accept the fact that maths is not my strongest point, and I would never, you know, reach that ability where I could be that good at maths. It's fine. So now I make videos. It's cool.
Oh dear.
No, I love making videos now. I'm just giving you an example. But, of course, you know, we do tend to change what we want to do, don't we? You know.
Yeah, all right. So we're going to put this document out. I'm going to email it. I'm going to put it on the. Basically, you'll put it on the page that's
You've
for
got to
members
update
only.
it now. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry,
need to
I've made you
update
more
it first.
work.
There is more work to do on it first, anyway.
Yeah.
I want to help people to know how to write things down, but we wanted to talk about it really, and again get some feedback. You know, and there are some. I mean, I say some things quite strongly on here. You know, about making choices for yourself. And again, don't choose to be upset by what I say. Usually I try to say, I always try and say things to be helpful. So, you know, bear in mind that what I'm saying is to help you rather than to make you feel silly. I would never want to make anyone feel silly.
No.
So we'll put this all up, and hopefully that'll be really helpful to people.
Yeah, and I think again, you know, this isn't just designed for the younger viewers, if you like, or the younger students. I think anybody can
It's for
benefit
everyone.
from doing this
Yeah.
exercise, and take your time over it as well. It's not something that you can do in 5 minutes. I think if you want to do it properly, you should really sit down and you should think about your answers. You know, think about the things that you're writing down.
And you never have to show anyone this
Nope.
unless you want to.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a theory about when you show people. I think that if I was writing something down and it was just me, I think, okay, fine. If I write something down and I show somebody and say, look, this is what I've decided for myself, there's a slightly higher level of commitment to it.
Yeah, you feel
Yeah.
like you have to really go with it
Yeah.
now, don't you? Yeah.
I suppose on the reverse side of that, the downside is if I change my mind about that thing, then I've got to say to you, you know that thing? I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't have to share these things. They're your life plan. It's for you to decide what you want. But if you do want to share it, I'd love to see some life plans
Oh yeah.
You know, it would just make my day. I think to see people planning their future,
Yep.
and not just their career, not just what they want to do for a living, but how they want to live their life.
Yeah.
That's really exciting to me.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah. So if you want to show us your answers, or if you don't want to show us, you want to show somebody else.
Other family members,
Yeah,
friends,
do
whatever.
that, because if you think it will give you, almost some sort of deeper reason for wanting to do it or feeling like you need to do it, and it will help you, then definitely do that. Because I think this is a really good exercise. And to be honest, I've done something very similar to this in the past. And I found it the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, but it was slightly different. It's that thing where you do like a short-term, long-term, or mid-term, long-term.
Yeah, goal thing, yeah.
Yeah, I found it the other day, and I was quite impressed, actually, with what I have managed to achieve.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was good. I think I probably did that 4 or 5 years ago, I would say. So, yeah, it's...
Good. So, I mean,
It's
you weren't a
good to look
teenager,
at.
were you? You're a grown-up.
Mm.
It's not something
Yep.
you have to do as a teenager.
No, and it's good to do. I think it's a really good exercise to do. And
As much as anything, I think the thing that affected me most when I got this information was that I suddenly realised I could choose how I wanted to be.
yeah, you're responsible, aren't you?
It wasn't something that, I'm going to grow up into this person who I have no control over.
Yeah.
Will I like hot dogs or sprouts, or, will I
Yeah.
like running or
The stuff that doesn't really
sleeping,
matter too much.
No, it's not going to be like that. I can decide those things. And for me, that was a real, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think as soon as you understand that, and like I said about the thing about not worrying about what other people say, it's almost like when somebody says that to you, you don't have to worry about what those people think. You think, oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I don't. You're right. Why didn't I think of that? But it's true, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So yeah, just to backtrack a little bit, if you're joining us and we're coming towards the end of this little catch-up, PE lessons. PE lessons are going to be starting next week. I'm thinking the title may be Move with Maisie.
Move with Maisie, I like it.
If there's something else kicking around out there that you guys can come up with, I'd like to hear it. Keep it, sensible. Becky Manley.
Nick Hills.
Yeah, Nick Hills. I know what you guys are like. But no, Becky sent me a message actually and said, great idea with the PE lesson. So that's really cool. Thank you. Hopefully you guys will be joining in. I want to see some pictures. I want to see some videos of that. Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're not going to start it this week. It's technically the Easter break at the minute anyway, isn't it? So we'll be starting that on Tuesday next week, 11 o'clock. But again, if anybody can think of a better time than 11 o'clock, great. Please don't say 6 a.m. because no is the answer. I won't be doing it at 6 a.m. I'd quite like to do it a little bit closer to midday would be good for me. Not because I don't get up until late, but because I have to set stuff up and, get here and all that sort of stuff. But, would it be better from here or would it be better from my living room? That's another thing to think about, isn't it? Again, ideas. Give us some ideas.
Domestic setting?
Yeah, we'd love to
Your
know.
garden?
Yeah, can do it in my garden, providing it's not raining.
My garden?
Yep, the internet's better at mine.
Oh, yeah. Internet's better.
Have a think about it and, give me plenty of time to think about it or to put the things into action. Don't send them to me on Monday night. Send them to me in the next few days and we can see what we can do.
Also, this coming Friday, Sensei Maisie's going to be taking the live kickboxing class.
I'm going to do a bit of a kickboxing-based
workout. Bit of a
workout.
Bit of a, get yourself
moving.
moving.
Yeah, get your leg warmers out and your
headbands, sweatbands.
Your headbands, I might. If I was allowed to play 80s music through YouTube, I would, but we'll get banned for copyright breach. But, feel free to put those on in the background at home if you want.
Yeah, it's all going to be copyright-free music, isn't it?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Or royalty-free music.
Yeah.
You'll just have to imagine Slade banging away in the background, or
Slade. Yeah.
or Sweet.
Yeah.
Or Mud.
Kylie, that kind of...
No, she wasn't there in the 70s and 80s, was she?
Kylie Minogue was around in the 80s, wasn't
Was she? I don't think so.
Yeah, of course she was.
Well,
I'm sure I've got an 80s hits album where she's on there.
Okay. Well, I'm not a great pop
Well,
historian, as you
she
know.
was in Neighbours first, wasn't she? That was in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have guessed she was in pop in the 90s, but there you
Yeah,
go.
well. Anyway, not really that important.
Get
The
your
other thing,
Saturday Night Fever track out.
yeah. The other thing that I
Staying
wanted
alive, staying
to
alive,
mention,
staying alive. Sorry.
that's 70s anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going too far back.
Okay,
You need to
fine.
come forward a bit. The merchandise. So, I put a post out yesterday which explained that 2020 is the 40th anniversary of the Black Belt Academy. And we had planned this a little bit differently, I have to say, but under current situations,
we did have some things planned.
we aren't able to do the things that we had planned. So if you would like some of the limited edition... Sorry, you've gone deaf now. If you would like some of the limited edition clothing and you haven't seen it yet, this is one of them. This is the sweatshirt design. Very nice. Lovely. You have just broken the 2 metre
Oh
rule.
no. Oh no.
No. Yeah, if you would like one of those, have a look at the Facebook page if you have Facebook. If you don't, then comment on the video on YouTube or send us a message, or maybe we can put that stuff on the website for you. But there's also a zip-up hoodie version of this. I don't know if you can see it very well from there, but it does actually say 40th anniversary on the front. On the back it says 1980 to 2020. We've also got some T-shirts as well, and all of this stuff, the good thing about this is you can wear it all in class. T-shirts, technically we're in T-shirt season.
We are, yes. After
T-shirt
the March
season
grading
now,
is
so,
now T-shirt season.
If anybody would like a T-shirt, the way that this merchandise, if you like, works is very similar to the sweatshirts that we have. It's order only, so we don't buy in 20
X
of every
number.
size. You tell us what we want, and then I send off an order with your requirements on it, and then it comes back in a few weeks' time. But of course, the people who embroider this and print this for us, they're closed at the minute, but we are taking orders. So if you would like one, have a look at those pictures. The prices are on the pictures as well, and put you down on my list, and we can go from there.
Excellent. Anything else we need to mention?
Jane Bentley, thank you. She saved me.
Why?
Kylie's first hit was 1987.
I apologise.
I know, you see, I know.
But what was it?
It's that really irritating one, isn't it?
Come on, Jane. What was that hit?
I always get her confused with the other one. The other one that looks like her.
The other one.
Yeah. I know who I mean in my head, and I can hear the song, but I'm not going to sing it. Anyway, so yeah, please give us feedback. Thank you for watching our videos. It turns out YouTube was essentially lying to us and saying that nobody was watching our videos. For me,
That's very frustrating.
it's very frustrating because we now have no idea which videos are getting watched and the ones that are getting watched, how often they're being watched. So it's really helpful. Thanks, YouTube, for that. That's it. I should be so lucky.
Ah. Okay, you've had
Thank
singing
you.
from both of us today.
I know.
Amazing.
It's getting to that point, I think.
Yeah.
Even Reggie's way over there today.
Got his paws over his ears.
He is not listening. What would be really handy, actually, is on any of the videos that you do watch, if you go to the website and you watch some of the videos, even the live streams. The live stream's a little bit different because usually I'm sat behind the computer monitoring it as I'm streaming. And I can see how many people are watching live, if you like. But on the other ones, we can't see that. What would be really handy is if you could just hit the like button, to say that somebody's watched it, or even comment on the video underneath. And even if you just put a thumbs up or a smiley face, we know that people are watching those videos.
But will they show? If the views don't show, will the comments show?
Yeah, they will.
Okay.
Yeah, because
good.
they're unlisted, but you can still comment. If you can't comment on the video, it's because YouTube has this new thing where we have to say if a video is made for children or not. So if one of our videos is aimed more at children, and we've said yes, you won't be able to add comments on it. The same with the live streams as well. If the live chat option isn't an option, then you know it's because we've had to say yes, it's for children. Even though it might be aimed at adults and children, you just have to say yes, which is really frustrating. But yeah, I think you can still like a video even if it's aimed, or we've said yes to that option. So give it a try anyway, and I can see that a couple of people have now liked the live stream, so that's good. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Now I feel like people are watching.
Yeah, absolutely. It's lovely,
and
isn't
it's
it?
nice.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's lovely. All right, good. Well, I'm going to have to make an exit to go and shut down the stream.
Okay. Anything else we need to mention? We've got what's going out live today, or what's gone out live today.
Oh, I'm going to put out an extra kickboxing video today.
Okay.
I'll do that, actually. Well, when we're finished, I'll go and do that.
And then what's
Tomorrow.
scheduled tomorrow?
Oh,
Sorry.
karate and kickboxing tomorrow.
Okay.
And then, I don't even know, it is Wednesday, yep. And then Friday is obviously the live stream. Saturday is Muay Thai.
Okay.
Break on Sunday, and then back to Monday, back to live stream.
Yeah, back to live classes.
And then move with Maisie on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Get your leg warmers out. It's going to be good.
Okay. All right.
Pom-poms.
So I'll let you pop over there to turn off the stream.
Lovely to see you all, or speak to you all anyway. Thank you for your interaction.
Yeah, we really love
I do
the
appreciate
interaction.
it, and I shall see you all soon.
Yeah, watch out for the Maisie and her leg warmers on well, I suppose that'll be the fitness class, won't it? But she may surprise you in the kickboxing workout on Friday as well. And yeah, Mr. Motivator, that'd be good. Yeah, Miss Motivator. Miss Maisie Motivator. Or Maisie, Miss Motivator. Okay. There you go. We can stumble across these names quite well, can't we? Anyway, thanks, guys. See you soon.